Good afternoon, everybody. It's attorney Brooke Goff. Bacon Sip is back, right? So sorry we were on a little bit of a hiatus, but spring break happened. You know, I do work happened, and it was a rough couple weeks. So I'm back, and today we're going to talk about pedestrian accidents because it's going to be 70 degrees, 75 degrees the next couple days, and lots of people are going to be out walking. And as obviously as commuters, you need to know what the rules are for pedestrians, but as pedestrians, you need to know what your rights are. Couple announcements first. So you guys loved our swag. I guess I'd call it a contest. Guess what's in the box, right? So Brian O'Neill, you're the only one that guessed it. So guys, I have been trying to get the right company. This all goes to Kylie, our social media person. I'm telling you, I've been trying to get the right company to do this. And you know, like you guys all know me, I try to get in all of our swag, I try to get my personality to come out a little bit. So it was a candle. So all of our new intakes, when you come to us with a case, you get what's called the swag box. So there's a T-shirt. Now there's a candle. There are welcome cards. It's a welcome box. It's what else do we have in there, Kylie? Coffee mug, our Goffy coffee. What else? There's the folder with the documents in it, the welcome cards. There's all kinds of good stuff. And each season we'll add a little something else. Like for the holiday season, we may add a little something. But this is one of my favorites. And here you go, so you guys can see. You guys read that? Well, in case you can't, we fight like girls and we win, because that's true, we do. So this candle smells so amazing. It's worth, honestly, getting smelled, but Brian gets to, right? So Brian, we're gonna send you a candle. And then I want you to obviously put a big review of it, of how it smells and everything else. Because I'm telling you, you almost wish there was like some kind of a soap or some kind of like a bathroom, like bubble bath that smells like this, because you just want to bathe in it because it smells so great. So congratulations, Brian O'Neill. And these candles are awesome. We have some pictures of them in production as well. So Kylie can post those now with the answer. This company was so great, small company. We can post the name of the company, right, Kylie, that did these in case anybody wants to do it for their business. Not cheap. Clearly, I'm sure you guys figured that out, but they're super, super, super awesome. And they really allow you to get your personality through. Today's winner is Donna Burke. I'm sorry, it's B-Y-R-K. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right. I did have a good friend in high school with last name Burke, and she spelled it B-Y-R-K. So if I'm not saying it right, I apologize. You won the KitchenAid. So the cookie we're making today are Sweet Songs cookies. I have some already done, because we cheat these days, right, and pre-make them, so you guys don't have to sit through and wait for them to get done. So I'm going to start putting it all together just for a few minutes, and then we're going to talk about pedestrian accidents, and then I'd say this is going to be a 10-15 minute sesh. It's a pretty easy recipe. So firstly, obviously my KitchenAid mixer, and again, still KitchenAid hasn't contacted me, although I've bought bajillions of these things for y'all. And KitchenAid has not contacted me to try to work out like some kind of like a shower saying, hey, thanks for saying hi and all this other business. And we tag them. So, I mean, KitchenAid, get your corporate together, right? So here's our KitchenAid mixer. And you're going to want to just put this particular, the paddle attachment on. Don't use the whisk. Don't use anything else. It's not going to do great with this recipe. Just use the paddle attachment. This recipe, it's so funny. Everything is kind of, it's actually, I mean, in my opinion, a little complicated, but we're going to get through it together. It's got unsalted butter, all-purpose flour, instant espresso powder, baking soda, which the espresso just makes the chocolate taste more like stronger, guys. Baking soda, kosher salt, granulated sugar, eggs, vanilla extract, because we all know that, you know, I love vanilla extract, dark brown sugar, dark chocolate chunks, milk chocolate chunks, and coarse sea salt for garnish. I mean, wow, right? So first you're going to melt the butter, and I'm going to remelt it because it was melted. You're going to melt the butter in a medium-sized saucepan over medium-high heat. Cook, swirling the pan gently until the particles begin to brown. The butter starts to smell nutty. We've done all that here, okay, guys? Remove from the heat. Continue to swirl the pan into the butter's rich brown about 15 seconds longer. Pour into a separate bowl and put it over a nice bath. Oh, you wanted to cool it down completely. See, guys, again, these recipes come in and we test them. So I forgot this one actually you want it to cool. So you almost get like a paste. Do you see that? And you know that you brown it right because look at the bottom. And whenever you brown butter properly, the butter, there's like literally brown fragments and they all float to the bottom always. Bottom of the pan, side of the pan. So look at this. See? So that's how we know we did it right. So you're going to whisk together the flour, espresso powder, baking soda, and salt in a bowl, and we're going to set it aside. And my handy dandy whisk, right? So here's my flour right here. My espresso powder is here. The brand doesn't matter. Honestly, it's just to bring out the flavor of the chocolate, I'm telling you. Donna, you can tell them. That's all it's for. It's not, these cookies are not made to keep you up at night, or not made to make them taste like coffee. They're made to have the dark chocolate and all the chocolate you're putting in it. It tastes stronger. It's actually a secret a lot of people don't know about. Baking soda and salt, okay? So baking soda, yeah. Oh, I think my baking soda and salt are all together. Perfect, they are. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna whisk this together, okay? Just whisk it nicely in this little bowl. And again, you don't have to like overdo it. I mean, these are pretty easy ingredients. And because the espresso powder is like thicker, it just makes it a little easier. All right. So the funny thing is this recipe tells me to put the eggs, vanilla, and granulated sugar in the bowl of the stand mixture using the whisk attachment and whisk it all together. Usually I do one, then the other, but it's telling me to do it. And Don, I'm gonna follow your recipe so that if it doesn't come out right, it's not my fault, okay? So here's my eggs. Here. I know you guys hate when I do this, but I'm telling you, I don't get shells in there. I'm really good at it. You can ask my office. They eat the cookies every day. Nobody's like choked on a shell. Nobody's complained about it. And trust me, if anybody were complaining about it, it'd be them. So they don't complain about it. All right, let's see what else I got here. So my eggs, my vanilla and granulated sugar. All right, so the people that prepare for me to do these recipes know they don't even measure out my vanilla anymore because I just don't listen to the recipe, so it's fine. Oh, that's a lot. It's okay, it'll taste great. And granulated sugar. This is gonna give you a really fluffy consistency, guys, so get ready. Just, again, always be mindful that your mixer's in the ready position and that it's locked and it's good to go. Okay. And you're gonna whisk it on medium-high until the mixture is a pale brownish yellow and falls off the whisk in thick ribbons when lifted. Again, I know I told you guys not to whisk. I tell you, still don't whisk, okay? The paddle attachment is like multi-purpose. I love it, and the whisk is just so hard to clean. It's so hard to get the stuff off. Some recipes need it, not this one, okay? And then the next part, they tell you to fit the paddle attachment in the mixer. We're just gonna leave it in there. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add the brown sugar and the cooled brown butter to the mixture, okay? So let this like kind of go to town. So when this is going down for a few minutes, let's talk about pedestrian cases, okay? I mean, I could talk all day about them. Same rules apply as if you're in a car accident, right? You wanna take pictures, no selfies, it's all true. Now, pedestrian accidents though, yeah, obviously guys, if you're going out, like this is for pedestrians in the nighttime, or in a place that's not well lit and you know it's not well lit. What do you need to know? Well, you want to wear at least one level of light clothing. White shirt, white hat, white socks that are showing if you're wearing shorts, white sneakers, something. I can't tell you how many pedestrian cases I get where the police report comes out, I get the photos from them, and guess what? They were in a black sweatshirt, black pants, black sneakers, and they like were in like hat that was just a dark color of some sort. People can see them. So help yourself. Reflective stuff, you can go on Amazon and get a $10 reflective button. I know, it might not look cool to your friends, it's fine, but if you're not gonna wear light colored clothing outside, you at least need to do that because it does give the insurance company defense to say, look, this person knew the lighting was bad or this person knew it was dark and the other person couldn't see them. Elderly people, guys, their sight goes. I've run into this argument a million times and they can't see you. Okay, so do yourself a favor, do the rest of all of us a favor. Do me a favor in the event to represent you and at least put on something that's semi-light of some sort. I've had people wear sweatbands that are lighter colored, like white sweatbands, but Amazon has like literally a $10 reflector you can put anywhere on you can see. They have the beeper ones. So don't overdo it. I was driving maybe 3 weeks ago and this guy was riding his bike and all I saw was like strobe light because the guy had like a light like strobing off his bike. We get it, but somebody's gonna crash into you because they can't see because of your strobe light. So don't overdo it. There's a healthy medium, okay? But as a pedestrian, what if you're hit by a car? Guess what the reality is, guys? You probably got a 50-50 shot, especially if it happens at night, that the person leaves. They drive away. They hit you and they never think about it again. They pray you still are alive or they pray they never get caught. Why? They're a kid, they're drunk, they're high, they panic, they don't have insurance, they're driving their friend's car, something. And you know, I've had this happen a bunch of times. I'm gonna add this stuff in here now. Just the butter and the brown sugar, don't get excited. I've had this happen a bajillion times. And then I have to talk to my clients and be like, guys, I get it, but guess what? I can't help the fact that the person left the scene, and we have to be able to find them to collect from them, right? If not, then I'm going to talk to you about your options. I had a case, 8 years ago. The person left the scene. People are dumb, guys, so criminals are dumb. Understand that, okay? That's why they get caught. That's why they're criminals. I had a case about 8 years ago where my client was crossing the road, and he was hit by somebody, barely, dark, like Honda vehicle, he thought, which it didn't end up being a Honda, it was a Volvo. And he was really injured. And the person took off. But my client was very injured. My client wasn't a small guy. So we're kind of like, well, let's see if the person is dumb enough to try to get their car fixed in the next 30 days. So we were working with the police. The police called every single repair garage, put them all on notice and saying, look, just letting you know, this was the damage. This is where it would be on the vehicle, blah, blah, blah. It took a month and a half of somebody parking their car in the garage, but eventually they took it to some repair shop, and guess what? We found it. And then some of my clients' blood was still on it, and we got a match. So we knew it was them. And then, of course, they played, oh, well, somebody must have stolen my car. I don't know what happened. Then we found out that night they actually posted some kind of a video on Facebook of them at a bar that was within like a mile. So, listen, own it. If you mess up, own it. It's the best thing you can do. You tick off everybody, including me and the cops, when you don't just own it. Okay? So I'm just letting this all mix, guys. I put the butter in here, and I put the brown sugar. Pedestrians, what happens if they take off? How do I get paid? Do not be the person that sits down and tries to handle your case on your own and say, well, if they took off, I can't get paid. It's pedestrian, so my car insurance doesn't come in. Wrong. Your car insurance or a family member who you live with's car insurance comes in, and you get to benefit from their underinsured, uninsured, so this would be uninsured motorist coverage. So if somebody hits you and takes off as a pedestrian, believe it or not, your auto insurance covers you for that under your uninsured motorist provision. I'll tell you another story. I tell this story all the time. I had this case. I'm just going to clean the sides here. Had this case where this woman who I've been doing business with for some time, I ran into her, and I'm like, oh, how's the family? Because I get to know my clients pretty well. Most of my clients will tell you that. Like, I know a lot about them. I know their kids' names. I know where they are. I know who's getting married. We are very personal in the office. So, and she said, I'm like, how's your family? Because I had represented her for something else. And she's like, and she's like, oh, my daughter, is not out of the hospital yet. And she's been in there for like 8 months. I'm like, for what? It could be anything, right? You didn't know? She was hit by a car, and she was really hurt. She broke A, B, C, D, and E. I was like, okay. Why don't you call me? And she's like, well, the person took off. There's no insurance. My daughter also doesn't have a license and doesn't drive. Well, who does she live with? Well, she lives with me. Well, how'd you get here today? I drove. What is your relation? I'm her mom. The household rule, guys, in Connecticut covers you under mom's policy. So I think it was Travelers. I put in a claim through Travelers. Mom had $100,000, still not enough. I collected that $100,000 in 3 weeks. That's $100,000 that if we never ran into each other on that day, she would have never collected. Your insurance company's not going to tell you this, right? It's called the household rule in Connecticut. Yes, we had to prove that she lived there, so don't play games about that. But that was it. It was not super, super duper complicated, but I think she was so thankful. She's like, oh my God, I thank God every day. I ran into you that day. But guys, she was doing what a lot of people do. Do not play lawyer, right? So if anybody on here is a dentist, I don't play dentist. If you're a doctor, I don't play doctor. If you are a salesman, I don't play salesman. Whatever you do, I am a lawyer. That's what I do. I don't pretend I do something that I don't do. You shouldn't either, especially when it comes to something that's so big in your life that it could really, guys, like $100,000 may not sound like a lot, and it wasn't a lot. I'm just being honest. I'm just adding the flour mixture now, guys, to the mix. It wasn't a lot. I'm not sitting here saying it was, but $100,000 is $100,000 more than she would have had we not handled the case. So I helped her out. We got to the bottom of it. We finished it up. We did what we had to do. She was happy. Mom was happy. Everybody was happy. And they refer me all their work. So listen to me when I tell you, do not play lawyer. If you have a case, the worst thing I can tell you is no, I can't do anything for you. And I may tell you that. I tell people that. Unfortunately, I have to. You're out of time, or you live alone and you don't live with anybody with insurance. You have no insurance. You don't drive. I do have those conversations, but not often. Okay? So pedestrians, again, use the crosswalks, but I get it. Sometimes it's not a crosswalk around. Cross safely, okay? Yes, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. I get it. I've had many cases where people cross the road because there's no crosswalks anywhere. Just always use your best judgment. And as drivers, look out for pedestrians. I don't care, you're going into the busy season. If the speed limit is 35, it's 35 for a reason. It's not 70, right? And if you drive 70 and you kill somebody, you're probably gonna do jail time because that's reckless driving. Guys, you can't fix the problem afterwards. You can only fix it before. And you know, criminal stuff, like I'm one of these people, I'm the worst person to talk to about this. If you kill one of my clients because you're driving 70 and a 35, you deserve to go to jail. You took their life, you took a mother's life, a child's life, whatever, the system's gonna take yours too. I don't have much mercy, especially for my clients. I don't have mercy about taking your assets. I don't have mercy about anything. So I don't feel bad when I serve a lis pendens on your house. I don't feel bad about any of it because you drove recklessly, or if you hurt one of my clients and you chose not to get enough insurance, I'm the last person you want them to hire. You better hope they go into one of those other big box firms that are just looking to get short settlements. They're trying to short you because we're not that. We're a long game firm. So if I can't get the money from you right now, I'm going to get it from you months down the road. Okay? So that's my pedestrian stuff. Any questions? Kylie's monitoring our questions. I'm going to finish the recipe, and then you guys are going to be able to eat dinner. I mean, we're doing great on time. What am I drinking? I'm drinking some Zevia ginger ale. I am exhausted. You guys probably can see that. It's been a very, very, very busy couple weeks. And I'm telling you, ginger ale just kind of hits the spot for me. So, but I'm drinking it out of our fancy Goff Law Group mug that our new intakes get. So, and we hand them out for contests. Has anybody gotten the Goffy coffee yet? Are we getting any reactions from it? Has anybody watching this gotten some of the Goffy coffee? It's my blend, so you better only say good things. But, what's that? Question? Okay. One more time.
They rarely drive.
They rarely drive.
My car is on storage insurance. I'm going to just donate it to some charity. If I decide to drive my daughter's car, who doesn't live with me, and it's my fault, what's my liability?
Great question. Different than what we're doing, but I'm happy to answer it. So the question is basically the person doesn't have a car. They want to start driving daughter's car, and he wants to know if he gets in an accident, he's liable. What's his responsibility? Well, the liability always goes to the car anyways. So if you don't have your own insurance, then it goes to the car. As long as your daughter has not excluded you from the policy, then it's like anything else. If you cause an accident, your daughter's insurance is going to pay for it. Make sure she has enough, because if you have assets, they're going to come after you for any personal contribution that her insurance doesn't cover. So maybe good time to have a conversation with your daughter about how much coverage she has. Then maybe instead of slipping her some money to use the car, slip her some money to pay for better insurance. That's what I always say. So, all right. Any other questions? I'm going to add the chocolate. They love the new what? Billboard. Thank you. The motorcycle one. We have some really, really good ones coming out, guys, later in the year. We're giving away a motorcycle. That is coming out. We're going to be doing, we haven't really announced. We're going to be announcing it. The new motorcycle commercials come out, so you guys probably figured it out. But we're giving away another Harley this year. We're going to be having the party, the whole thing. We'll be issuing those rules and how you win. It's going to be a social campaign. And it's going to be all about shares. Share, 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 like, follow, follow, follow. Guys, the motorcycle's great. I actually just picked it out. And I think Brian's picking it up in the next couple weeks. So it's a beautiful bike. It's awesome. And who wants to buy it? Why would you buy a motorcycle if you can win one from me, right? And last year we had a winner. Motorcycle was great. This year we're going to have a winner. So we're really going out into the motorcycle community this year, guys, and letting people know that, all respect to you riders that ride. I don't, as you know, my billboards, but all respect to you riders out there. I want to educate you. I want you to know what to do. As I say in my commercial, I'll leave the riding to the other lawyers, and you can leave the fighting to me, right? It's all good. But trust me when I tell you, you don't need to ride to know how to handle a motorcycle case. You need to know how to handle a motorcycle case. They're very different. And you riding does not give you an advantage or leg up at all. It just gives you better networking with motorcyclists so that they hire you in the event that they have an accident. So, any other questions?
In regards to the last question, do you have to be added as an additional?
You don't. Nope, you don't. I always recommend you do. that you add them, especially if you're going to be using it regularly, but you don't. I mean, it's no different than if a friend goes over your house and you're parked in the driveway and, like they use your car. As long as they're not excluded, you're good. But I would definitely, if it's somebody that's going to be using the car on a regular basis, I would definitely add them. You don't want to run into a problem. She might have weird language in her policy. You just don't want to mess with it. And insurance companies are getting super smart with how to try to avoid liability these days. So I mean, they had a lot of time to sit around the coffee table and think during COVID. So I would just recommend that, she adds you. Doesn't usually raise the rate unless you have a bad driving history, then it would, but.
Just one more question.
Sure.
After an accident has been settled within a month, can you still seek lawyer if you feel you're truly not being compensated enough?
Let me make sure I have the question right. So somebody settled their case, but they're asking if after they've settled their case and they've gotten paid, and they've had second thoughts that, wait, I didn't get compensated enough from my lawyer, can they basically reopen it and go after more funding? No. You sign I assume you signed a release. You sign a release, and when you sign that release, it's ironclad. You are releasing the other parties, all of them. I check the release to make sure you've released all of them from liability in exchange for money. Offer acceptance consideration. You have a contract that's enforceable. I would say the answer would be no. If you represented yourself, I've had weird things happen where insurance companies say, hey, we're just going to pay you for your medical bills. Everything else stays open, but they don't actually do that. They actually close the whole thing. I've gotten that reopened, but no, if you had a lawyer and your lawyer just didn't do a great job for you, one, you should have called me. But two, she used on her own. That's even tougher. It's even tougher. She can talk to me, but the chances of me being able to reverse that are, guys, this is why you need a lawyer. I'm telling you, for your $500, $1,000, $1,500 settlement the insurance company is going to give you, the insurance adjuster that pays it to you is going to do like a backflip and a cartwheel after they pay you. I could have gotten you $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. So I'm telling you, the differences are that big. And they prey on people handling the case themselves, and that's why they try to settle them so fast. They want to settle them before you talk to a lawyer and realize what you're doing. So I'm sorry for the bad news. You can run it by our office, but depending on what the situation is, it'll be difficult to overcome that one. Anything else, Kylie? So now, guys, these are really super fluffy. It reminds me of my s'mores recipe, actually, consistency. So I'm just throwing them on. Try to make a ball as best you can. It's going to stick to your hands because that butter that was clarified and browned and all that other good stuff. So just do the best you can. That's what I'm doing. Get them on your pan. And then you are going to 13 to 16 minutes on, what's my temp here? 325. And then I'll take them out. I'll take a couple pictures and we'll be good to go. I do have ones done. Here we go. This is how they look. You're going to put a little sea salt on them when they're done, but check these bad boys out. Sorry, I have a little batter, but look underneath. Kylie tried one. You said they tasted amazing, like chocolate, because that's what espresso does. It brings out the dark chocolate. So our office is 433 South Main Street, Suite 328 in West Hartford. Come get one tomorrow if you want one. Just let us know you're coming. Happy, I'll have them in the office. And you can come visit me and say hi to me and ask me any of your questions. Guys, again, I do these. I don't do these for my own personal gain. I do these to educate you because education's power and it allows you to make better decisions on this really hard part of your life. That is going to benefit you going down the road. And if you still choose after you're meeting with a lawyer, me, talking to me, somebody else, you want to do it on your own, at least that's an educated decision, right? Because you know what you're facing and you're still making that decision. I can be reached with any of your personal injury questions, dog bites, slip and falls, car accidents, pedestrian cases, any of the above. No questions dumb. No, I'm telling you guys, the time that you don't ask the questions, the time it's going to be a good one. I can be reached on my at the intake line 203-399-0000 extension 1. Again, 203-399-0000 extension 1. You can email me at Brooke, BROOKE, at gofflawgroup.net. Guys, consultations are free. My time is free when I talk to you. Ask me any questions you want. I have amazing lawyers in the firm. It's not just me. I have amazing lawyers. We will do everything we can to help you, guide you, put you in the right direction. Like I said, my goal is that every single person in Connecticut that watches my commercials, watches me on Facebook, watches our bacon sips, if they get in an accident, it will happen. Odds say it will. That you can at least make educated decisions in the process. Okay, so again, call me, let me know your issues, call me to talk, stop by, try our cookies, and guys, I appreciate all the support. We have great new announcements coming, new swag coming, and that's gonna be a super fun summer. So thanks, stay tuned, and enjoy the night, enjoy the next couple days. It's gonna be 70 degrees. Thanks, guys.